Hey everyone, welcome to the live stream this Saturday night on the 8th. So, as usual, I'm going to crack something open. Tonight we were doing just an Alani because I'm tired. I know a lot of you are here for the giveaway. I did a short and it was wildly popular. However, a giveaway won't be till the end of the live stream, about 10 minutes prior. Thus, if you want to be entered into the chat, or you want to be entered into the giveaway, then get in the chat. Let us know you're there. Mrs. Guru is somewhere off there watching. And as people get in the chat and enter things, she is going to be adding you to the little spinning wheel in about 10 minutes to the top of the hour. She is going to come down into the studio and we will do a drawing. Now, if you're curious what is being given away, we are doing, once again, gotta grab it. This, I don't know why it's still here, but every time someone wins it, I never hear from them. So, we are doing a checkered Glock grip from glockgrip.com. This was for the Glock 19, 23, 25, 28, 32. So, you get this lovely little Glock grip that you add to your Glock. And we've added in, since then, a little patch from Canic. Of course, you get a little glockgrip.com sticker. You're getting an FAFO patch. An AIM ammo can loot drop. This little dude, what a little thing. Got a little fanny pack, little pistol. And we're going to throw in, just sweeten the pot, we're going to throw in a Stogie Mags. These guys were down at Goals in Knoxville, and it looks like a 50 BMG magazine, but it holds cigars. So I thought it was pretty cool. I'm going to throw in Exigent Defense mufflers. It's got a special bulldozer on there. And then we have the also Exigent Defense little pill bottle, drugs for intramuscular use only. And you know what? Let's just keep going. Patch, not a machine. Oh, it's hard to see. Not a machine gun. It's got a bump stock on it. Little patch says protected by the Second Amendment. And you know what? Just for shits and giggles, if whoever we draw for this actually gets back to me so I can send this to somebody, I'll throw in a couple of patches here and a sticker. Okay? So all that for you. All right? I mean, it comes in a package. It's no matter how much it weighs, it's the same fee. So whatever. Now, earlier in the week, we did a drawing for the, it's down on the floor. I'm not going to pick it up just because of YouTube. It is a 20 millimeter M61A1 metal tube. So you can get that. That is going to be delivered. I am not trying to mail that. So I hate to be a stickler about it, but God, please, you got to be local. All right, you got to be in Connecticut for me to deliver that. I am not trying to drive halfway across the country to deliver it. All right, they are. Listen, it's a rare item. You can't get them out in the open market. Now I know what you've all been waiting for. This one right here, this last giveaway, what we're going to be doing last. The story behind it was, I had said in a video that when we reached 5,000 subs, I would give away that M61A1 barrel, metal tube. And Mrs. Guru said that she would like 5K subs by her birthday. Her birthday has come and gone. It was at the end of October. We hit 5,000 beforehand. And she said, listen, if we hit 5,000 by the time my birthday rolls around, she goes, I want to give away something special in honor of her birthday and us reaching 5,000 subs. So she picked, because we went through a lot of things, and she picked this right here. This is a coffee mug. It is a Charged Demolition M112 with tangent C4. It's a coffee mug from Mission First. It is BPA free, double walled, vacuum insulated, sweat proof. It is good for cold and hot. Now, if you put a drink in this, like coffee or tea, it will stay hot for over 4 hours. If you put in something cold, it will stay cold up to 8 hours. I do have this one, and I have the one that says M18 smoke grenade. It's all red and all that. Unfortunately, they were sold out of those, so she settled on the demolition charge. So that will be the last giveaway this evening. So get your chats in there and be known. Super chats help. I don't know, maybe super chats get extra spots. I'm just saying. Maybe they don't. All right, let's get into it. I got a bunch of stories I wanted to cover, and we'll jump right into it. So, in case you did not see, here's the merch store. I always plug that. Merch store, guys. Get in there and get your sweet merch. This one is for Bonfire. Right there. Bonfire. So get your Bonfire merch. Disabled but deadly. I do love this shirt. And, of course, dead inside but caffeinated. God, if you know me, you know that's how I am. So if you're looking for some merch, yeah, it's t-shirts here, but they also have a bunch of sweatshirts. And you know what? If there's something that you want made into a sweatshirt, it's easy enough for me to add the sweatshirt in there. So all you have to do is go to gunguruactual.com. And you can go right to here and leave me a little message. Of course, here are all the different places for you to find me and my videos. Lives are always on YouTube, but all the weekly videos that I do are uploaded to Rumble, BitChute, Grey Hive, Odyssey. These are backups, and God forbid YouTube ever nuked me, you could find me on all those platforms too. Of course, you can follow me on all the socials at Gun Guru Actual. The Instagram one is a little spicy, guys. I put up some weird stuff on there. And there's another link to a merch store. That one goes to Teespring. It's kind of Over here, you've got your pistol safety course. If you are in the need for a course, generally, I am the instructor over at Lock and Load. So this right here, you click that, it will take you over to Lock and Load's website where you can sign up for a basic pistol safety course or a multi-state course. So if you're needing a class or you know someone who needs a basic pistol safety course, that's where you find it. And of course, there's a Utah flag because, well, that's the link everybody that gets their Utah permit would use to find all of Utah's laws. It just makes it easier than me constantly handing out all these updated laws from Utah. I just gave everybody a link. All right, there you go. Now, in a previous video earlier in the week, I talked about how every town for gun safety put forth this letter to Ruger, so Strum Ruger and Co., out of Southport, Connecticut. They're going after the Ruger RXM. Now, we know Glock is stopping all manufacturing of Glocks for civilian use. The Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, starting November 30th, and that's it. They're done. No more shipping of them. And then December 1st, somewhere around there, the V series is coming out. I don't know what the V series is. I don't know how much they are. Apparently, they're the same price. Down in the description below, there is there's a bunch of links and descriptions for everything here, but there's one that says tools. Click on that and you can donate to the tool fund. And maybe we can get ourselves a V series or something like that and do a full burn down, breakdown, and review on it. But I've reached out to them and they've said nothing. I've reached out to Glock. They've given me nothing. Even Ruger here, I reached out to Ruger and I got a very funny letter back from them. But I'll read it to you. I wanted to bring it up specifically in case you guys did not see it. That Shadow Systems, right there, Shadow Systems is basically they're stopping production of their guns too, because they're all based on Gen 3s. So with the Gen 3s going away from Glock, now Shadow Systems bending the knee. Every town is screaming at Ruger to do the same thing for the RXM. I know a few of you in the description were like, hey, I'm buying an RXM. Good for you. They're not that expensive. Get them while you can. I heard PSA daggers are next on the block. I'd like to say, hey, just get yourself a PSA dagger, but PSA is kind of a dick when it comes to shipping to Connecticut or anywhere here in New England. So I reached out to Ruger and asked if I could get my hands on an RXM from them through a T&E program, whether it's they send it to me or I borrow it, just so I could get a review on it and all that stuff. And I had mentioned HB 7042 and their letter, this letter right here from Everytown, and they said, Todd, we at Ruger take great pride in reputation as a model of safety and corporate responsibility. We are proud of our history in developing and selling robust, reliable, safe, and lawful products, including the RXM pistol. And our law-abiding customers, as our corporate motto states, we are arms makers and responsible citizens. We condemn the criminal misuse of firearms. Thank you for choosing Ruger. Ruger Customer Service. Ruger, that is not what I asked you. Ruger, I said I wanted an RXM to review it and do a burn down on it and get the word out so, you know, God forbid they ever go away or there's tons of lawsuits, people can jump on them now and we can do an honest review on it. You know, is it worth it type thing. But they just sent me some generic letter back. But that's neither here nor there. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this letter. I'm just want to let you know, hey, it's in a previous video. If you're really curious about it, there's a whole video on it. And, of course, there's this. So, in case you guys didn't know, Everytown offers Train Smart now. It is a basic pistol firearms training course. I have seen a video or two where people have taken this course and they have ripped it apart. Now, it is, of course, coming from this video to me, so it's like second and third hand. So what I was thinking, you guys let me know down in the chat. Should I sign up for one of their courses? I'm thinking this one right here. The Smart Guide to Buying a Gun. I would do the on-demand. I won't do a live session. I don't think I can control myself in trolling and running my mouth. But I'm thinking about signing up for an on-demand class. And it's only an hour and a half, but going through it, picking it apart, maybe grabbing some screenshots, and then doing a whole video on it. Just basically talking trash about it. Down in the comments, guys, let me know what you think. Should I do it? I know I said I wanted to do it. Josh over at Lock and Load, he was on board with it, and a few others were like, yeah, like, let's do it, and just rip them to shreds. I've got some screenshots of things they said, and it's pretty bad. Coming from an instructor, like, I'm an NRA instructor, a USCC instructor, a SAFE instructor. I've got a lot of credentials when it comes to instructing. I mean, for military and civilian, the civilian world. This one, though, this guy's takes the cake. They tout it as it was designed by military veterans. I, as a military veteran, who spent my entire early life in the military, because I made a career out of it, I really want to go through this class and tear it apart. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let's get into the news you might have missed. I'm bringing this article up specifically. It's got to load. Because today in class, I had a teacher, and we were talking, and of course this doesn't want to load now, and I thought this was like a really important thing to bring up, because we're just talking about her being a teacher, and I didn't know if you guys saw this, but a couple of days ago, a jury awarded a Virginia teacher $10 million after she was shot by a 6-year-old student. You might have remembered this. This was a while ago. I think I talked about it. But a jury awarded $10 million to teacher Abby Zwerner, who was shot by a 6-year-old student inside her classroom in 2023. In Newport News, Virginia. I know where that is. I was stationed right down the road from there. Nearly 3 years after Rich Neck Elementary School shooting, the jury was reached a verdict of $40 million lawsuit and filed against the Newport News Public Schools. Zwerner was shot in the hand and chest January of 23 as she sat in a reading table with her first grader classroom. She spent nearly 2 weeks in the hospital, required 6 surgeries, and does not have use of her left hand. The bullet narrowly missed her heart and remains in her chest. The shooting sent shockwaves through the military shipbuilding community. Newport News makes ships like carriers and destroyers, things like that. A former assistant principal, Ebony Parker, who listed as the defendant in the lawsuit, also faces separate criminal charges. A special grand jury earlier this year indicted her on 8 counts of felony child abuse and neglect, one for each bullet in the 6-year-old's loaded gun. Child's mother, Deja Taylor, is also serving prison time after pleading guilty to federal and state charges connected with the shooting. She's currently serving 2-year state sentence for felony child neglect, followed by a 21-month federal sentence for using marijuana while owning a firearm. It's prohibited in Virginia and at a federal level. Connecticut, not so much. Investigators said that her son used the gun to shoot the teacher. So the gist of the story was the teacher kept telling the administrative staff that the kid had a gun, had a firearm. And the staff ignored her, blew her off. She said she didn't feel safe. They basically told her to get over it. And this 6-year-old, not with malicious intent, but just a child's curiosity, shot the teacher. It wasn't out of anger. It was just the kid screwing around with the gun, and bad things happened. The parents didn't lock the gun up. The parents were high as a kite. Kid got a hold of the gun, took it to school. Even though they said, hey, this kid's got a gun, the administration didn't care, right? Because it looks bad. And if you got kids, you know how these schools work. Bullying, zero tolerance, right? That's what they tell us. Yet they tolerate it more than anything because it looks bad at the end of the year if they suspend kids over bullying or other things because, well, I don't know if it's dealing with money or the BOE or whatever it is, but, I know you're thinking, it's in Virginia and this happened years ago. What's the deal? Well, here we go to this period in time. Right here. A 15-year-old Florida boy guns down classmate after the victim bumped him in the school. Now, this was from November 6th. This is just 2 days ago. A 15-year-old boy allegedly gunned down a teenage classmate after the victim bumped him in a hallway of the Florida high school. The officials are now seeking to charge him as an adult, according to the authorities. I can't even say your name, man. Ja'Cory Redding, 15, and Pinin, I'm slaughtering your names. 16 bumped into each other while walking the hallway of Oak Ridge High School in Sky Lake on October 9th. They got into an argument. Orange County Sheriff John Mina said during a press conference, 2 sophomores argued. They agreed to fight at a nearby park after the school. Redding reportedly refused to apologize for the accidental bump. Redding allegedly then shot him twice in the park before fleeing to his high school campus, police said. Here's the dilemma, guys. This kid, get out of here. This kid, I don't know, maybe he felt like he was disrespected because the other teenager refused to apologize. So, you know what? We're going to escalate it all the way up to basically murder. Who the hell are raising these kids? Listen, you bump into me, no big deal. If you apologize, great. I appreciate it if you didn't mean it. And if you don't apologize, you just keep going, I probably think you're a dick. But it doesn't warrant me doing anything other than that. Just thinking you're just a dick. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these people. This is insane. And it's like, okay, this happened off campus, but it's still kids with a firearm. And then we come all the way back from Florida to Connecticut. Student arrested for allegedly having a gun in Waterbury. And everybody in class wonders why I pick on Waterbury so hard. If you're from one of my classes, we start off with student introduction. It helps set the tone and pace of the class. Yesterday's class Everybody in the class either moved to Connecticut and they already had a permit from another state, or they had let their permit lapse and they had a prior permit in Connecticut. Needless to say, the class knew almost everything. They were there for an updated class, so we had to cover the gun laws and all that good stuff. But when it came to the basic things, like this is a front sight, this is a rear sight, blah, they knew it all. I was able to just keep the class moving. It was a pretty smooth class overall. Today's class, there's a couple of people that have never touched a firearm before. That's fine. I prefer that because there's no bad habits. So we go a little slower, and I make sure that you, if you've never touched a firearm before, that you really understand what we're discussing. But with the student introduction, if you tell me you're from Waterbury, I pick on you. I'm like, yep, that's why you want a gun permit. So, in Waterbury, a student has been arrested for allegedly bringing a firearm to the school in Waterbury, school officials said. Police responded to the Waterbury Career Academy on Friday after other students reported a 17-year-old possibly had a gun. The students said that they knew he had one yesterday. So that's 2 days in a row. The school went into shelter-in-place mode until Waterbury police officers knew who they were looking for and the exact location. Superintendent Darren Schwartz of the school resource officers responded and apprehended the student within minutes of the report. The student was arrested, and the school went back to normal operations. One student said the lockdown lasted about 20 to 25 minutes and credited their teacher for taking it seriously from the moment it began. Versus in 2023, the school in Virginia did not. And thus, something bad happened. And that's one of the reasons I was kind of leading with that. I mean, it was all culminating this week. I was like, what is going on? We encourage you to continue discussing safety with your children and remind them to keep dangerous items off school grounds. Any student violating this policy will be subject to severe consequences. Listen, I always tell people, if you have kids at home and you introduce a firearm into the house, you really need to sit down and have a chat with them. If you hide it and lie to them and pretend it doesn't exist, kids are nosy little brats. I know, I had two of them that they're grown. They will snoop and look for things. And if you've never discussed firearms with them and they find it, bad things can happen. But if you basically stick it in their face, you make it humdrum, just make it boring, show them the safety, explain the responsibility that goes into it, just make it part of their life. They're not going to have that curiosity for it. It's just going to be part of their life, ho-hum, whatever. You should do that. That's what I think. You do you. I don't care. Whatever. But this is insane. My question is, where did he get the gun? As far as I know, they never explained it. They just said, people felt scared, blah, blah, blah. But that was it for the article. Never said where he got it. Never said if it was a real gun or not. I know I saw an article. It was reported somebody had a gun. Turns out it was just like a pellet gun or a BB gun. I don't know if it's this article or another one, but I remember a kid got picked up, but it happened to not be a real gun. So, couldn't tell you. But it just goes to show you, we have a law in the books here that if you bring a gun to school, it's Class D felony. Why didn't the law stop this? The kid still brought it. I know you think, well, they arrested him. Yeah, but he was still able to bring the gun to the school. It's a felony. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but the law doesn't actually stop people from doing it. It's only after something like this that you could charge them, or it's only after they show up and do something bad. Then we charge them. Connecticut's got a problem. They need to harden their schools. I think it's Bristol. I could be wrong on this. I think Bristol just voted, their Board of Ed, just voted to put armed guards in schools. And I say, bravo. Good. Put them in the schools. Harden the schools up. You go to a bank, they've got armed guards. The people that fill up the ATMs, they're armed. Okay, they're just guarding money. Money's not as precious as our children. Our schools should have armed guards, and I don't want to hear the liberal crying points of, oh, but it's going to scare the children. Oh, it's intimidating. I'd rather have my kids be like, man, there's armed guards everywhere and be safe than them walking around in little la-di-da land and then bad things start to happen. That's just me. Maybe I'm just weird. I don't know. You guys let me know. So we got this going on. And then, of course, man found with a Glock pistol, extended magazine at the Webster Theater in Hartford. This was from November 7th, so a day after the kid at school. A man was arrested after he was found in possession of a loaded Glock 19 pistol with an extended magazine at the Webster Theater in Hartford on Sunday night. According to Hartford police officers, they responded to a report of a disturbance involving a man who refused to leave the theater at around 9:35 p.m. on Sunday. The man tried to flee but was quickly caught by officers. The man, identified as 23-year-old Justin Rivera of Windsor, was found with a Glock 19 9mm pistol with an extended high-capacity magazine loaded with 29 live rounds, as well as $10,000 in cash in a backpack. It was determined that Rivera did not have a valid pistol permit. He was charged with second-degree breach of peace, first-degree criminal trespassing, interfering with an officer, and possession of a large-capacity magazine, and carrying a pistol without a permit. And that's the end of the article. So, let's break it all down. 23. Okay, he's old enough to have a gun, but he doesn't have a permit. Thus, he can't have a gun. He's got a Glock 19, 9mm. Sure, that is one of the most popular handguns in America, especially if it's Gen 3, Gen 4, because, well, they take switches. The extended high-capacity magazine that holds 29 live rounds. Well, Kinetic's got a lot. It caps you at 10. So where did that one come from? How did this guy get a gun without a gun permit? Where did he get the extendo mag? Those are good questions. Now, he's got $10K in his backpack. Cash. What the hell's this guy up to? They don't say anything more about the money. Just like, hey, man, he had a backpack of $10,000. That's a little hinky, man. That's a little weird. I don't know what he was doing. But, hey, it's determined that he didn't have a valid pistol permit. So his charges were breach of peace. Okay, well, he refused to leave. Criminal trespassing. Yep. Interfering with an officer. Well, that's because he was resisting arrest. And possession of a large capacity magazine. And carrying a pistol without a permit. I'm just really curious where he got the gun, got that extendo mag. It's nuts. I'm pretty sure the Webster Theater is a gun-free zone. Where are those charges? And breach of peace, trespassing is trespassing, but where are the charges for having a gun in a gun-free zone? I'm assuming Webster Theater is a gun-free zone. I couldn't tell you that for sure. Let me look it up real quick. And we'll see. So we got the Webster Theater. Gun-free. Let's see. Let's pull up the facts. Reject them all. Yep, smoke-free. Yep. Gun-free zone. Can't have guns. That's it. So, where's that charge? I don't know. That's just a whole lot of stuff going on right here, man. I couldn't tell you. I mean, $10,000 in cash? Where do you get that much cash? I don't want to assume, like, okay, drug dealer or something like that, but I don't know, maybe sold some comic books. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have heard anything else. I think this was kind of nutty. But yeah, there's a lot of weird things going on in Connecticut with gun. Yet Lamont says, hey, crime is down. We're doing a great job, guys. I don't think crime's down. I think they're just gaslighting us. I mean, it showed that, hey, the state police and a few other departments have been cooking the books, making it look like crime's down when it's really not. And hey, Lamont is going to run for a third term, guys. If he gets reelected, man, there's people in Connecticut just lost their damn minds. He's got to go. All right, let's move away from Connecticut. This is insane. All right, I got good news for you guys. Not just all gloom and doom bad news. We've got good news. This is coming from Bearing Arms. SCOTUS has slated several more 2A cases for consideration in the conference. The conference is coming up. It's coming up at the end of the month. So, the Supreme Court has already granted cert to 2 separate cases dealing with the Second Amendment issues. And they might hear more. I remember I did a video where a South Carolina case dealing with Connecticut, AR ban, and mag ban is going forward seeking cert. So let's hope it gets picked up. I know a lot of you were just jaded and you're like, I've lost all hope. So far, the court has decided to address the constitutionality of Hawaii's vampire rule, which prohibits concealed carry on private property unless expressly allowed by the property owner, and the federal law barring unlawful users of drugs from possessing firearms. Next week, the justices will also consider 4 other cases in conference that deal with the Second Amendment. One is going to be the 18 to 20-year-olds. Now, we know courts out west, which I did a video on, found that it's unconstitutional to bar 18, 19, and 20-year-olds from not being able to possess handguns. Here in Connecticut, it's still against the law. But if the Supreme Court lays it down and says, hey, you can't do that. At 18, you're an adult. Like my argument is, you could join the military. You can go off to a faraway land with an assault rifle, a handgun, a bag of explosives, and be sent on missions to go do, cool guy things. That's okay, but God forbid, when you come home, the state of Connecticut and many other states, including federal government, are like, oh, you're too young and too immature to have a handgun. In fact, right before I started this, I was reading, I don't know if it was from the Giffords group or Everytown. They were literally talking about 18 to 20-year-olds. And they were talking about how kids at that age are, basically irresponsible and they're idiots. And they should not have access to guns. And I'm like, well, when you're in the military, you get all those guns. And I know 18, 19, and 20-year-olds in the military that are in charge of multi-million-dollar aircraft. It is their responsibility. You as an individual are in charge of like a $40 million aircraft, making sure everything works right. That's it. And you're young. It's a lot of responsibility. But according to the state, hey, these kids are not responsible enough. The lawsuit involves challenges to the federal prohibition on gun sales for adults under 21, Florida's law banning all gun sales under the age of 21, Pennsylvania's ban concealed carry for under 21, which turns to total prohibition on carrying for young adults, and the state's open carry law is suspended during a state of emergency. I hate that, but there are some states that are pretty based. Now, like Utah has a hybrid law of this, Utah specifically. At 18, 19, or 20, you can carry a gun on a provisional permit. The only difference is you can only Israeli carry. So you can't have a round in the chamber. Once you're 21 and you convert your provisional permit into a regular permit, then you can carry a round in the chamber. So at least there's that. As given the court's split on the issue, I believe there's a real possibility the court will hear one or more of these cases. But there are other live issues pending before the court. November 21 conference will feature almost half a dozen of them. 4 of the cases slated for November 21 conference are prohibited person cases, not challenges to Section 922G3, that is a ban for unlawful drug users for owning a gun, but taking 922G1's prohibition on gun ownership for anyone who has been convicted in any court of a crime punishable by more than 1 year's imprisonment, which bars unlawful aliens from possessing firearms. In addition, the court has scheduled Duncan v. Bonta, November 21's conference. It is a challenge to California's ban on so-called large capacity magazines. The Ninth Circuit has upheld that law, including the provisions requiring existing owners to destroy their magazines, turn them over to law enforcement, or permanently modify them to comply with California's 10-round limit, or remove them from the state. Connecticut's got a very similar law. Unfortunately, yes, we're limited to 10 rounds, but at least Connecticut was cool enough to let you keep your standard capacity mags if you already owned them prior to 2014 or the 2023 redo, just because people had found them. So the state opened it up for a short period of time to where you could declare the standard capacity magazines that you found. I just removed all mine from the state. Took them out of state. Where was I? If the Supreme Court denies cert, it's almost guaranteed the Ninth Circuit would lift the stay on California, would start prosecuting anyone found in possession of large capacity magazines, even if they lawfully purchased them. It's time to move out of California, guys. I'd love for the court to hear each and every one of these cases, but it's not a realistic possibility. The court could end up upholding one or more of these cases pending the outcome in Wolford v. Lopez and U.S. v. I was going to say Heminy, though I don't know that either of these cases would have much of an impact on the constitutionality of California's mag ban. In one final bit of SCOTUS news, the lead attorney challenging Hawaii's vampire rule in Wolford v. Lopez is asking for help from gun owners in order to pay for historians, documents, affidavits, and the mountain of legal costs associated with the Supreme Court challenge. If you'd like to help the attorney, Alan Beck, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to give him all that. So this, like I said, was coming from the Bearing Arms. If you've never read Bearing Arms, it's actually a pretty good website for 2A news. Also, the Duke Center for Firearms Law, it's pretty much the same thing. They are talking about NRA v. Glass, Paris and Lara, McCoy and ATF, West Virginia Citizens Defense League v. ATF. These are definitely, it's the same stuff, guys, but it breaks it down a little more. So you can see the petitions that are pending. It'd be nice. It'd be nice if they picked them all up and stopped being effing cowards and finally give us some rulings. I would love to see the Supreme Court strike down California's 10-round magazine capacity law, thus opening it up for everybody. It would basically undo the law here in Connecticut too, because it's the Supreme Court. Sure, the state would try and argue it, but standard capacity is standard capacity. The gun was designed to hold that many, and damn it, we should be allowed to carry that many. That's just me. So, but there's a lot of cases, guys, dealing with the 2A. And you can see I'm just scrolling through them. There's tons of them. So, hopefully the Supreme Court will pick a few up. Hopefully they pick up ARs and magazines and undo some of the damage that our blue states have done to us in curbing our rights. So, you got that. There was a few more articles I wanted to grab real quick. This was breaking news right before we went live. And I don't know what's going on. The manhunt is underway for a gunman allegedly that fired at federal agents in Chicago during an immigration enforcement action. So this just happened a little bit ago. Literally probably about 6 o'clock or so. Authorities are searching for a man who allegedly shot at U.S. Border Patrol agents Saturday during immigration operations in Chirac. Border Patrol agents were conducting immigration enforcement operations in Chicago's Little Village neighborhood when a man driving a black Jeep fired shots at the agents and then fled the scene, according to the Department of Homeland Security. Nobody was hurt, guys. Not a single individual was hurt. They are looking for the individual. I guess there's been a lot of demonstrations, a lot of issues, and then this guy drives up and starts popping rounds off. Chicago Police Department told Fox News Digital there were no reports of anyone being struck by the gunfire. Following the shooting, a group of people threw paint cans and bricks at Border Patrol vehicles. Fox 32 Chicago reported a flashbang was deployed as crowds surrounded federal agents for multiple blocks. Yes. Flashbangs are perfect. They make them go away. Literally, you can buy reusable flashbangs. I always tell people, yes, I carry one. And I explain in class that, hey, you know what's cheaper in the long run? Because these flashbangs aren't that cheap. The ones the government use are exploding. I don't want anyone to get hurt. But they're like, well, why do you have one? I was like, well, if I'm ever in a crowd of people and I'm feeling uncomfortable and I'm really worried for my safety, what's cheaper? This $500 flashbang or me engaging with someone and now facing all those legal fees and being arrested and losing things? It's less than lethal. It's a distractionary device. I was looking to see if I had one of the extra ones laying around. I don't. I have two of them. So there's one that's the Leo version and one that is for like regular civilians. They were sent to me to review. I got to get that review done. At least one person was detained, according to the outlet. City Alderman Michael Rodriguez in the 22nd Ward posted a video to Facebook accusing the agents of causing all sorts of mayhem. Yep, it is the agent's fault. Not the people's fault. Nope, it's the agent's fault. They're doing things that are unconstitutional, that are illegal, Rodriguez said. They are causing fear and mayhem in our communities, and that's unacceptable. I really hate these people. You're here illegally. That's the key word, illegally. You got to go. You got to go. All right, the reason I brought this up is because, man, every day it looks like, we are just getting closer and closer to some sort of societal collapse or, God forbid, like a civil war. With the SNAP benefits running out and people losing their damn minds over that, governments shut down, you've got ICE running around doing their job, enforcing the law of the land. And you got these people out here rioting and throwing things. You had the No Kings protests. November 5th, they were supposed to start protesting outside of the White House, right? This is last Wednesday. And they're supposed to have millions of people show up until Trump basically quits. I didn't hear anything about it. But you might think, hey, it's because nothing's going to happen. New York City just elected Mamdani. He is a self-proclaimed socialist / communist. He wants to ban all guns, ratchet up taxes. New York City, January 1st, guys, gonna be insane. Can't lie, I really want this guy elected. I think it's really bad. There's gonna be a mass exodus of people fleeing out of New York City, coming here to Connecticut. And then some will be fleeing south to Florida, to Tennessee, and other places that are, better. Sorry to tell you, Tennessee is full. They don't want you. You can't go there. That's it. Tennessee's shut its door, locked it. No more visitors. We're gone. No room for you. So, I don't know, guys. What do you think? You think New York's just going to burn? I know Mamdani's talking about ratcheting up taxes, and everybody's all about it. And then Hochul came out yesterday and goes, no, we're not doing that. He can't raise taxes without my approval, and we're not doing that. But the day after he was elected, so he was elected on Tuesday, Wednesday, I saw in the news, Florida saw a $100 million uptick in real estate money. So basically, on Wednesday was a flurry of people buying stuff just to get out of New York. I don't know. I think it's going to get really bad, guys. And unfortunately, I think it's going to bleed over toward us because we are in such close proximity to them. But I don't know what to tell you. And lastly, I just wanted to cover this real quick. National Association for Gun Rights. This this is why I always joke about driving around Illinois. I avoid it like the bubonic plague. Something stinks in Illinois. More and more reports are surfacing of law-abiding gun owners with valid CCLs and FOID cards, that's pistol permits, are being hit with felony charges. These charges are often dropped only after long, costly legal battles that never should have happened in the first place. Many of the issues have come down to simple errors, almost always at the state's end. Databases are not being updated or properly maintained, and the police often ignore established procedures. Yet these mistakes still force law-abiding citizens into costly legal battles, leaving them to dig themselves out of their Jesus, out on their own dime despite following every rule. Gun owners are being treated as criminals first, with any questions left for later, if they're asked at all. This is yet another of the countless problems with firearms permitting schemes and carrying licenses. If you're trusting the government to properly maintain and use that data, and if they fail to do so, the consequences for you could be detention, arrest, charges, or worse. This is why we need real constitutional carry nationwide. So I'm just showing you guys, listen, Connecticut ain't too far behind this. We've covered it in the past. They've got databases that track us. We have a gun registry. We have universal background checks in Connecticut. And, you know, sooner or later, there's going to be a hiccup. I always tell people, hey, if you're a permit holder in the state of Connecticut, you're pretty much guilty till proven innocent, especially under our red flag laws and a bunch of other things. And that your permit, which is your little permission slip that you've begged the state for and you wait months for, technically can be revoked at any time by any law enforcement officer via the suitability clause. If they find reason and they think that it's necessary for them to pull your permit, they can. There's no trial. No, they're just like, nope, revoked. And then you've got to fight to get it back. You're going to have to go before the Firearms Board, which is supposed to be comprised of 9 members, and they're currently only 6. They're all appointed by the governor. And it takes 2 to 3 years to get there. You're going to need a good lawyer. If this happens to you, please reach out to people who know the best Second Amendment lawyers in our state. Ralph Sherman, Cameron Atkinson, and a few others are phenomenal, and it's their bread and butter. So be careful out there, guys. Let me know what you think, though. Make sure you get your chats in, because we will be doing that drawing here soon. It is almost 10 till. So hopefully you guys got some chats in there. Let's start pouring through them. Oh, look at that. Lots of chats. Lots of chats. Viking Queen says good evening. Good evening, Viking Queen. Any updates on Glock V? The V series? No. Again, though, I'd love to get my hands on one. So, I don't know. Mike G says good evening, all. Mark Green says good evening. New says good evening. Jose G, good evening. The Patriot Rock. All cheap stuff. All cheap stuff, my man. There's nothing cheap. That 20 miller M61A1 item, you go tell me how cheap that is. The Patriot Rock 2. What is up with the Hartford Whalers? Listen, I love the Whalers. I've been seeking long and hard for a Whalers hat. Nobody has them. I know I could order them online, but I didn't want it that bad. I was like, hey, if I come across one, I want to buy one. And a couple of weekends ago, Mrs. Guru and I were spending some time at the casino. And we went down to downtown Mystic. We were walking around. And in one of the shops, it's a man's shop. So it's like all men's stuff in there. She found the Whalers hat. And I was like, oh, I'm buying it. And then on the way out, when I was getting ready to check out, she found the blue Whalers hat. So this is the green one, and I have the blue one to match. I love the Whalers. When I was a young buck, so many, many years ago, we're going all the way back to like the 80s. We used to have season tickets to the Whalers, and I loved it. Love me the Whalers. JR, Bridgeport in the house. I'm sorry you're in Bridgeport. Rough there. AY says, good evening. The Patriot Rock. Yeti lasts a shitloader longer. Yes, Yeti. Great. But you got to buy the Yeti. I'm giving you this mission first. So, go buy the Yeti. Or you can take the free one if you win. Mark Green says, never figured out how the thermos knows how to keep something hot or cold. And that's funny. How does it know? Magic. It's black magic. Eric Burton says, hi, Todd. Howdy. All right, say JM says, I'm here. Wishing to get into the drawing. Thanks, Guru. Oh, Mrs. Guru showed up. Mrs. Guru, are you ready to do the Glock grip? Almost. Okay, I'll keep reading then. Let's see. Mike G says, how long do you think it will take before there is a read on how good and bad the V-Series is? Yeah, we're totally cut off. So run the names now because we're about 6 minutes out. I think we'll hear shortly about the V-Series. Glock is really not one to send out anything to influencers for us to review. We all generally have to go buy it. And, the V-Series is going to be brand new, so it's limited quantity. Couldn't tell you. So I'll try to get my hands on one if I can. And maybe do a review. Probably like a 17. A Glock V-Series 17. Shadow Systems is news to me. Yes, Mark Green. Shadow Systems actually already bent the knee. According to the letter, Shadow Systems is already complying. And there were no lawsuits against them. But PSA is holding out. And Ruger, from the letter they sent me, it sounds like Ruger's just telling them, they're not going to do anything. So RXM's only like $400. Or at least you get an RXM. Mrs. Guru says no. You ready to do a drawing for... You all right? Oh, I get to hit the little button. All right, guys.
I'm not getting in the video.
We are doing the drawing for the Glock grip from glockgrip.com. It is my last Glock grip to give away. And remember, if you don't reach out to me, you're not going to get it. So if you win, you got to get it. So let's see. Here we go. We're spinning. I'm looking at my screen. And the winner is JM. So JM, if you're in the chat, you have got to reach out to me. JM. Jay dash capital M. Okay, you won the Glock grip, bro. And you've been removed. Reach out to me. Literally, I gave you guys my website. GunGuruActual.com. Go there, shoot me a message, shoot me an email with your address, all that, and I will send this out to you. And if I hear from you, you get all this extra stuff. If I don't hear from you, well, I guess next Saturday we're doing the same damn thing. All right, this one is going to be for the metal tube. Metal tube. Last person didn't ever reach out to me, so hopefully they're still here. Spinning. Oh, there's the winner. Jose G. Josie G. Jose G. Go ahead, you got to remove them. All right, guys. She's screenshotting it. Reach out to me, and I'll send it to you. Well, that I'll bring to you. We'll have to meet up. We'll meet up at like a Dunkin' or something. Get coffee and I'll give you a metal tube. All right, next, guys, is the Mrs. Guru's Choice. This is to celebrate hitting 5,000 before her birthday. Oh, and it comes with a little Mission First sticker, which I tucked in. Maybe whoever wins, I will take and I will throw in, along with this, what do you think? 2 patches? All right, so we're going to do this right here. It is a Shadow Systems patch. We'll throw that in. And I'll get another patch or sticker. I'll grab something. What do we got? Everything's so...
Thank you.
Mark Green. Mrs. Guru, Mark Green. Mrs. Guru says thank you. All right, next patch is just a GEO, a Global Ordnance patch. We'll throw that in too. All right, so we get that and all that, and here we go. Oh, Mrs. Guru is going to tap it. So you're going to see your hand. Tap.
Here, now you can take it.
Now I can take it. Studio lighting. Laura Kelly has won. So, Laura Kelly, if you're in the chat, reach out, shoot me an email, and we will get it off to you.
She's in the chat right there.
You got issues. Mark Green also writes, as an instructor, always interested in seeing what is out there, good or bad. Helps with misinformation. Listen, you have no idea at some of this stuff. Washington Gun Law covered it, and some of the stuff that they showed, I was like, listen, I got to see it for myself. I don't know if I can, like, stream the whole thing. I'm pretty sure that's going to violate somebody's copyright. So I'll have to do screen grabs and do a review. But listen, I suffered through 6.5 hours of public hearings for you guys. I'm pretty sure I can suffer through an hour and a half of stuff. Mark Green says worth the $20. Okay, why go for it? Let's see what else we got here.
Am I good?
You're good, Mrs. Guru. You can go bebop out. Oh, while I'm looking at chats, guys, my son was, what would you call it? Embarrassed? Guru Jr. was at work, and he was talking with a coworker from another company who watches this channel. And he was mortified. He never thought that he'd run into somebody that watches this. I laughed. I was like, well, they're local. The worst one was my daughter out west. She ran into somebody at a bar out there that watches this. She was mortified too. So we just think of you as dad. We don't think of you as this YouTuber out there. So let's get some of these chats out of the way. Jose G says exactly bad parenting right there. Chewing bubble gum. Parents are likely dirtbags as well. Yes, they are. Let's see. Why? Chewing bubble gum. Why would anyone want to move to Connecticut? God, I know why I moved back. That's a long story. It involves getting injured while active duty, deployed, and going back for an undergraduate degree and needing support of family. So that is the only reason I got sucked back up here. And now I'm looking for an exit strategy. Eric Borden. Parents are lazy in raising their kids, and they don't care what the kids do until something bad happens to them. Listen, you know how many people I see that they're like, I just want to be friends with my kids. I want to be friends. I want them to like me. I never wanted my kids to like me. In fact, Mrs. Guru and I talked about when we had our daughter many, many years ago, that if at least once during her teenage years she didn't tell us that she hated us, then we knew we weren't doing our job. We were strict yet fair. The kids towed the line. We were always brutally honest with them. We gave them freedom when they needed it. We let them fall when they needed it. We let them crash and burn, yet we picked them up brushed off the dust and the dirt, and helped them learn what it was to be an adult. And now both the kids are thriving adults. And they look at people their age, they look at their peers, and they're like, what is wrong with these people? And I'm like, I don't know. It's their parents. I'm not saying I was a perfect parent. By far, I was not perfect. But I did try really hard when I was around. Both my kids, when they were really young, I was never here. I was deployed all the time. So I owe all of that to Mrs. Guru. She raised them in their early years. It wasn't until after I was injured that I was able to be part of their lives. Mike G writes, well, if I lived in New York City, Connecticut is looking pretty good right now. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Connecticut's bad, but we're not as bad as other states. There are greener pastures better than Connecticut by far. Eric Borden says, but Lamont said that Waterbury is a safe town. Yes. Yeah. Listen, I'll buy that for $1. If you believe Waterbury is a safe town, I got a bridge to sell you. Mike G says, can you say drug dealer? I believe he was a drug dealer. Eric Borden, I live in Bristol. And you are correct. They did just approve armed guards in our schools. Yes, I knew it was Bristol and it was a B town. And you know what? Listen, putting armed guards in the schools, I think, is fantastic. For me, if I had children in that school, I would feel safer knowing there was someone actively there to stop any threat that might arise, and not far, far away, whether it be 5-10 minutes or so, to where the individual trying to do the bad thing has free reign for that amount of time before the cops actually show up. God forbid, they're even further away. Having a cop right there, as long as they're willing to do their job, not like Uvalde police. That's all I want. Mark Green writes, the Connecticut firearms law work. Yeah, they work real good. His street name is Dr. Feelgood. That's funny. Mark Green, all theaters are gun-free in Connecticut, I thought. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. I'm not saying whether I ignore stuff like that, but like you go into the Oakdale, you're getting patted down. If I'm going to go watch a movie, at one of the movie theaters, it is what it is. Chew and Bubblegum, that's exactly why I don't go to theaters in Connecticut. Yeah, well, it'd been a while since I went to see movies. The last movie I went to see, Guru Jr. and I went on my birthday to go see Superman. I wanted to see it. And I was willing to go to theaters. Otherwise, there hadn't been a damn movie that I want to see lately. Let's see. Mark Green writes, the vampire law was tossed in New York. Yes, it was. But other states, guys, other states get to do the same dumb shit until the Supreme Court lays down the law. You actually believe William Tong will allow the Supreme Court to go in favor of the 2A in Connecticut? Hey, he's not going to have much of a choice. But again, I'm sure they'll find a way around it. Tong is almost as big of a tool as Murphy. Don't even get me started with Murphy. I know Murphy personally, and he is a POS. Yep, it's crazy how much tax dollars are spent in lawsuits against our rights. Yes, you'd be amazed. Hey, just take solace, Jose, that our tax dollars also go into funding Connecticut Against Gun Violence, the Sandy Hook families, and a bunch of other anti-gun groups here in Connecticut. Just grab it, bud. Mike G says, sad to say that I would like Blumenthal back as AG if it would take Tong. Listen, Blumenthal and Tong both are anti-gun and horrible. I don't want either one of them. Luis Torres, I'm late. I was in the hospital with my wife. Was sick. Oh, no, bud. I hope she's okay. Prayers to her. Hope everything is all right. Don't worry. This is going to be up afterward, too, so you can just jump on and watch the beginning. Mike G says, hope she feels better. Yep. Mike and Queen, hope your wife is feeling better. Oh, there's a message redacted. Super secret squirrel. Mr. Any grenades? We're not giving away grenades. I do have one laying around, though, somewhere in a box. I might give that one away. That's expensive. That's like $600. if you're not embarrassing your marketing goes, if you're not embarrassing your kids, you're not doing it right. That's pretty much what I said. Lou Torres says that he is training his kids on firearms. That is perfect. It's one of the things I always say. Listen, that's why we get the blue guns, the little yellow guns. I started my kids with BB guns. And then we moved up to 22 LRs. Both kids for Christmas one year got Henry lever action 22 long rifles, and that was their primary gun as in their adolescence. When they both my kids turned 16, they got to pick out their very own 9mm handgun that fit them, and that's what they got for a birthday present. So, one of my kids is big into it, and the other kid's like, meh, it's not their cup of tea. But hey, they understand the gun safety, they understand how guns work, and they're not afraid of them. And that's all I ever wanted. JM, so I email you where to my contact info. Yeah, so Jay, if you go to my website, gunguruactual.com, there's a contact me on the front page. Just put all your information in there, write the message, send it off, and I'll get an email. And then we will get you your stuff. Hope that helps. If you need the website again, I can always bring it up. I'm just moving things around. Right there. There it is. Right here. Plug in your name, your email, write me a message, click contact us, I get the email. That simple. You do all of that, and we'll be in there. And I'll be able to get your stuff to you. Okay? All right, guys, I ran a little late by 8 minutes. So I appreciate you guys stopping in, and I hope you guys got everything you wanted. We will figure out stuff for next week. And if I don't hear from certain people, same items will go back up. I got plenty of things lying around here that we can dish out. Things that companies send me and all that good stuff. All right, go, guys. Enjoy your Saturday night. Go hang out with your family. Stop hanging out with me. I'll see all of you guys in the next video. You guys have a great night.